Hey guys, I'm just testing this new camera, and today I think I respond to this event of the times, like what's been happening recently, specifically what happened in South Africa, the trends in South Africa. While I don't want to really take sides or talk bad about anybody, but the reality, I just want to give you the facts. So the facts are that in South Africa, uh, uh, the majority of the indigenous population don't own most of the land. Most of the land is owned by the Boers, who makes only about 7% of the population. So that disparity is something not very good. It's actually a time bomb. That at some point the impoverished population will rise up and try to get what they can, like happened recently here, where a group of Zulu young men just invaded the supermarket and were just looting. That's what poverty does when a population is oppressed for long. So, so then recently, this issue of land without compensation, land expropriation without compensation. It's not very clear what law it was passed, but it was passed that the South African government can actually take up land and redistribute it, uh, like for state purposes. But actually, what South Africa needs, I mean, use it for state purposes. But what actually South Africa needs is a comprehensive land reform. Normally, post-colonial period, that is the period when actually a very comprehensive land reform needs to be done. And if it's not done then it's a ticking time bomb. Yeah. So what happened is that after Mandela was released from prison, and yeah, and he came back and he was a hero, but it softened over the years, and reconciled with the Boers rulers, the apartheid rulers, who had actually made the bulk of the population suffer. The indigenous population more or less pushed into townships like Soweto, like very large numbers of people put into a small area, basically a slum. And yeah, and now what should have happened is that after Mandela came out and became president, there should have been a comprehensive land reform, whether it's a willing buyer, willing seller, or the state just buys the land and redistributes it to the population. Something should have been done. I don't want to prescribe what should have been done, but I want to tell you what happened in Kenya. Actually, I'm testing my new camera. This is a micro camera, which you can walk around with. You can put in like a lapel mic, and it's a very tiny camera. And I'm just testing it to see how it works, and I'll use it to take my vlogs. The reason why I'm using this camera, I bought it, is because I was taking videos using my phone in Colombia, and my phone just went bad. Yeah, and I actually fixed it eventually, but I lost all the videos that I took in Colombia. And that was so sad because those are like iconic videos, like really milestone videos I really needed to keep. Yeah, so that means I need to go to Colombia and take the videos again. So Colombia trip brewing probably before the end of this year, or maybe next year. I don't know. But I'll try to go before the end of this year. So going back to what I was saying about South Africa is that um, comprehensive land reform actually needs to be done. It wasn't done after the apartheid regime collapsed, and a more inclusive South African system was set up, but it should be done. Uh, and recently about the issue of of immigrants moving from I'm laughing because I don't want to mention the words immigrants moving to America from South Africa. That's laughable. And nobody's killing nobody there. But I think crime rate is very high. That's the truth. The truth is that the crime rate is very high. Whether you're a local, you're indigenous, you're mixed, you're whatever shade of color you are, crime rate is very high. So so what South Africa needs to do to probably reduce the crime rate is to redistribute land, empower the local population, the indigenous population who've been pushed to the brim, to the sides of the of the economic cake, like to the periphery, and bring them on board. Yeah, and then the South Africa will be the South Africa that all South Africans want to live in. Yeah. So that's what just what I was saying. I love the country. I've been there once. Oliver Tambo actually slept at that airport because I had a long layover, and this fabulous stores, very beautiful, very nice people over there, very friendly. And I was told, oh, they're friendly until you get out and stay in Johannesburg and realize they're not that friendly, especially to foreigners here. But that's, I think, something that happens when you get a lot of foreign people coming to your land, and then you feel like they're the problem and you want to get rid of them. Yeah. So that's what's happening in South Africa right now. Whether the immigrants immigrants from other African countries who come for economic opportunities, or to trade, or to work, the local population sometimes feel that there's too many of these people from other countries like Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Kenya, whatever, and they don't want them there. I mean, they say we don't have jobs, you're suffering, we don't want these people here, and that's what, yeah, that's what was what happened when there's xenophobia. But going back to the story of refugees from South Africa, makes me laugh because it's so funny. Because yeah, but you know, you can't tell a big lie that in the world this is a global village. People can see what's happening everywhere. You know, so it's social media has everything, and so so what I just want to say is I was saying, like, if I was to form a party in South Africa, I would call it Umkhonto weSizwe, the armed, the armed, the armed, like the armed wing of the freedom fighters, which now the Zulu have actually formed a party like that from from KwaZulu Natal. I mean, not the Zulu, but South Africans, Zulus included, and everybody else here. But there's also the economic freedom fighters also who've been fighting for, clamoring for redistribution of land, and it was sad to see the president of South Africa. I don't want to say he was wrong, because my opinion and his opinion probably were miles apart, because he supports Russia bombing Ukraine, and and then goes to the U.S. to say we need you over here, then taking Israel to court over Gaza. It's like contradictory stuff happening. So I think sometimes just leaving the foreign policy alone and not really yelling out your support, well, just take care of your own people. Like, just make sure your people are comfortable, crime is reduced, and all that, and your country is a good tourist attraction for tourists, and you make money out of it, and you sell your minerals and stuff like that. I think that's what mostly South Africa should focus on. Yeah. So it's a beautiful country. I'd like to visit it. Like, get out of the airport and visit it. I think I will go there soon. But my take is that what I can see, I can see the future. The future is that the ruling party has been dwindling in support. ANC has been dwindling in support, and the other parties have been gaining support. That is EFF and Umkhonto weSizwe. They've been gaining support. So with time, give it like another 5 years, ANC might be a minority party in South Africa, and then the other parties will be the majority party, and then the inevitable will happen that redistribution of land will be done eventually. So like, nature has this way of like balancing itself. So if the redistribution of land is not being done now, with time people feel disenfranchised, people support parties that advocate for that redistribution of land. Eventually it will happen, and then probably that at that time, maybe then a lot of Boer farmers who don't want to live on the same playing field, on the same level as the other indigenous South Africans, will move out and claim to be refugees. But nobody's really killing anybody else in mass, like it was being said. Yeah, like probably the the U.S. president was getting the wrong information, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know where he got his information from. But that's what's happening in South Africa. That there's a lot of the crime rate is very high. There's very high poverty rate among the indigenous population, and the people who really own the land and have property are the Boers or the apartheid, the former apartheid people are positioned the apartheid rulers, basically. Yeah. And that really needs to change. I mean, there needs to be a balance. Like that land needs to be taken from the big farm owners and redistributed to the people who are have like a quarter of an acre or like a tenth of an acre. You can't say only a particular group of people are able to farm. Anybody can farm. We just need to enable people to farm. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah. So like what happens in Zimbabwe, it eventually may happen the way it happened in Zimbabwe, where people just move in and occupy the land. Yeah. Like, yeah, so probably that will happen in future, where people just move in and occupy the land and the owners just move out and the land is redistributed to the people. Yeah. So an injustice cannot actually persist for very, very, very long. Eventually nature will find a way of leveling things out, and nature will find a way of correcting itself, and it's just time. It's just a matter of time, and then there'll be a redistribution of land, so that wealth will actually move from certain small group of people to the majority of the population, and then everybody will be happy, and crime will also go down, and so on and so forth. So that's my take on South Africa. That's why I think South Africa really needs a comprehensive land redistribution. So I want to tell you what happened in Kenya, because I've got a history of Kenya. So these are just facts. I'm just telling you facts, not even opinion. So after the British colonists, actually the Mau Mau fought for independence or fought for the land against the British colonists. Then Jomo Kenyatta became the president. After that, you read the history. And then the British settlers or the colonists were so scared that, oh, they're going to take their land, they're going to kill us because we've been killing Mau Maus and so on and so forth. And Kenyatta said, all right, don't be scared. Nobody's going to kill you. Yeah, nobody's going to take your land. If you've got like 10,000 acres and some people have no land, then we'll just walk away so where we can buy your land and, you can subdivide it and give it to other people. Yeah. So what happened is that the British government actually gave out money to the Kenyan government to buy the settler lands and redistribute them to the indigenous population. Initially, the indigenous populations were on those lands, but they were moved out when the colonists came in, settled the prime land, what they call the highlands in Kenya. They actually used to call them the White Highlands in Kenya. So they moved the indigenous population out, and after independence, now the settlers had to move out, and then not really move out, but they're scared, and most of them moved actually to Zambia, to Rhodesia. It was Rhodesia at that time, and they moved to Rhodesia and Zimbabwe, which was also called Rhodesia at that time. So they moved to actually Zimbabwe, most of them, and South Africa. So and then the few who are left in Kenya, there's still some who are left in Kenya. Many settlers are still left in Kenya, who own tens, thousands of acres in like Kipia, whatever. Yeah, so they're still there. It's not like that everybody moved out. Yeah, nobody was forced to move out, but it just happened that if you've done injustice to people, you're just scared when those people take power. You think, oh, now they're going to revenge and I'm going to get out. I need to get out. Yeah, so probably that's what's happening in South Africa right now. That's what. But the British government actually gave the Kenyan government a loan to buy this land, and the loan was actually channeled through Germany. It was like a long route through Germany to the Kenyan government. It was called the Million Acre Scheme. So Google the Million Acre Scheme. Anybody can Google it. Google as well. Artificial intelligence will give you all this information. So the Million Acre Scheme in Kenya of 1963 was money given by the British to buy land, the colonists' land or the settlers' lands, and redistribute them to the indigenous Kenyan population. That's what happened in Kenya. So the land was bought by the Kenyan government from the settlers and redistributed to indigenous people through the Million Acre Scheme. The problem is that when that happened, there's a lot of corruption too. So it wasn't very fair. Some people were close to power, got more land, while people were not close to power, didn't get anything. Yeah, and yada yada, like it happens all the time. Yeah, but basically that's what happened, and that's how the settlers moved. Most of the settlers moved from Kenya to Zimbabwe, and then later from Zimbabwe, when the freedom fighters in Zimbabwe said, now we want the land we've been fighting for. We've got independence, how come we don't have land? Then Mugabe said, okay, you guys take the land. So the guys moved in, occupied the land, and the settlers now moved to South Africa. But while the boss in South Africa has still been there all that time. Yeah, so basically that's what has been happening. Yeah, and so South Africa has been like the safe, I could call it the safe haven for settlers. But with time, especially if the local population is actually moved to the periphery of the economic system, they don't own most of the land which they think ancestrally belongs to them, eventually it will happen. They'll move in and take the land, either by themselves or through government support or through whatever support. Eventually that will happen. But right now what's happening is that the impoverished people are just crime, just a lot of crime because of that, a lot of crime because of poverty, because of lack of empowerment, and yeah, and that's fueling a lot of fear also on the few people who own the pieces of land, the large pieces, the 10,000 acres, 20,000 acres of prime land, and cultivating it here. So that's what's happening in South Africa, and while while the president said, oh, those are minority parties, the South African, those are minority parties who don't have any say in parliament, or they are saying they're singing this freedom song. Actually, that Kiss the Boer, whatever song, Kiss the Farmer, is actually a freedom fighter song. That's why Malema has never been jailed for that, because it was a freedom fighter song where the Mkoto Sizwe armed fighters were singing like, shoot, don't miss, whatever. I don't want to say all the words, but then they were singing these freedom songs, and those freedom songs is what the EFF is singing right now. So it's the same songs. That's why it's like, oh, we can't even jail anybody for this. These are songs that Kiss the Boer, Kiss the Farmer has been there since the time of freedom fighting. So, and that's why I think they took Malema to court and they tried to prosecute him over that. It never worked. It never worked. They were never able to convict him on that. So yeah. So they just say this is a motivational song, yeah, and it's not like they're saying literally go and harm somebody now. But then some people listen to that song and say, "Ooh, this is dangerous. This is dangerous, and we should actually get out of there, come to the U.S. as refugees." No, we just need to redistribute the land. Be fair, and the government needs to buy that land and redistribute it to the local people, to the indigenous people, and then all will be well in South Africa. Everybody will live happily ever after, and farm their land and do their business and so on and so forth. So guys, I'm trying to be very fair. I'm trying to be like, just give the facts and my honest advice to the South African government that land redistribution is imminent right now, because if it's not done, what you call the minority parties have been gaining. I've been following. They've been gaining ground. Hundreds of thousands of people in a stadium. They've been gaining ground, and with time, they'll be the majority party. And the inevitable will still happen, that the land redistribution will still be done. Yeah, and the indigenous people will get what is their fair share of the land. So that's my take. I love you guys to the beach and back. Watch this video till the end. I've tried to be very, very non-offensive in my language. Try to just to state the facts and what I think should be done in South Africa in order to make everybody happy, everybody live happily ever after. Nobody's really that bad. People just want their fair share of the cake here. Be it land, be it the economy, be it whatever it is. Nobody wants to live in a tin house, a house or a cardboard house like in a slum. No. While somebody else is living in 10,000 acres of land, in a mansion, in a stone mansion. No, not in this era where people can see everything happening through social media. No. So so that's my take, and there's a wake-up call for South Africa. South Africa urgently needs a comprehensive land reform. I don't normally want to shoot videos about countries, but that's just my take, that in order to actually, it's a beautiful country. In order for everybody to be happy and reduce the crime and empower the people, land redistribution in South Africa is imminent. They need to do it. The sooner it's done, the better. I love you guys to the beach and back. Subscribe to the channel, like and share. Kisses all the way. Ciao. See you soon.